Welcome back to my Unreal Engine 5.3 Tetris-Like tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about input. I'm going to be porting this over from my old project. The first thing is just grab all of these. I'll hover for a second so you can see the code if you want to copy it down. Alright, so now I'm going to copy and head on over to this is the player board header file on my TetraCube class, and I'm just gonna paste these here. And of course I didn't grab the space. All right, we'll keep them slightly separated. All right, so what do I need next? I'm gonna need to set these in the blueprint. I'm pretty sure I already created those input actions and mapping context in a previous video. I don't think I did the exit game, so I'll do that afterwards, and probably the hold action too. I don't think I had that. All right, so then the next thing I'll need is my setup player input components. Let's go over here and grab this. This is just where I'm binding all the actions. If you're not familiar with this, it's part of, I believe it comes from the pawn. Let's go to super. Pawn, yes, set up player input component. That's right, I was looking at it earlier. So it allows the pawn to set up custom input bindings, but this is the important bit right here. It's called upon possession by a player controller using the input component and created by create player input component. So if you'll notice, I never actually call this anywhere else. The only two places that this is even mentioned is just right here. So it is important to keep in mind that that is called automatically, but you still have to override it down here. It is an override. Depending on the project, it might actually come with it. I don't think I had to create this one. I think it came when I just instantiated the class. In any case, we need to put actual code in it. So let's grab these, head back over here, and player board CPP, set up player input component. Don't need this twice. All right, and in here all we're doing is, so this is a little different than what the default is, but I'm grabbing a variable or setting up a pointer to enhanced input component. This is just something I made up, and I'm casting it from the U enhanced input component from the player input component that's actually being passed in through the default stuff. I'm not sure if I have to do it this way, but this is kind of easy. You just take the input component and then cast it. And then from that point forward, you just go through and you bind all of your actions. You can look at bind action, and it tells you and it tells you exactly what you need to pass in. But you know what? Actually, I don't think I can have all these here right now because I need to have the actual functions that they're triggering to be part of it. So we'll just, I guess all we're setting up now is the actual inputs themselves and the U enhanced input component. We'll do that first. So this should compile, I think. And I suppose I won't make you watch me do this. All right, so I compiled and launched the editor from code there, and I had to do the right one, right? Yeah, I think, yeah, I'm in TetraCube. Okay, I was worried I was in the old Cubo Minnow project for a second there. All right, so we still need our mapping context. This is the one that we, or at least I thought I created earlier. Maybe I didn't create that for this project yet. All right, well, no time like the present. So in content here, I'm just gonna right click, do a new folder, and let's call it input. All right, right click. Okay, so the first thing we need, mapping context, input, mapping context. I swear I did this, but Tetro cube, mapping context. And we should preface that with IMC, input mapping context, like down here at the bottom. All right, so we'll leave that alone for now. Then we'll go input and it's deprecated input mapping context. Oh, wait, no. Context. Input action is what we need. And then, so we'll do move action cursor. All right, so we'll call this IA for input action. And then we'll just call it cursor. CURSOR. All right, let's open this one up. Bool is fine. Actually, yeah, I think we can leave it bool for now. So we'll just save that, close it. It looks like bool is the default. All right, and then we need another one for touch. Input action, IA touch, exit, IA exit, IA hold. All right, that covers everything. Okay, so let's stick these in. So there's the mapping context, cursor, touch, exit, and hold. All right, now we can finally go back in here. So the first mapping, hit the plus. This will be cursor. And for the first one, we'll make it left mouse button. Inherit settings from action, that's fine. And then touch. Oh, kidding, I don't need to open that. All right, so we have cursor. Now another one. Go for touch. This one, on the other hand, is going to be touch 1. Triggers inherit settings, it's fine. And then another one. What else did we need? Exit. So for exit, I mean, on keyboard and mouse, it defaults to escape. But I do like to make it explicit, and I might change this later because I think eventually I'm gonna use escape to like just open a menu or something, and then you'll have to like click exit game. But for now, I'll just have that actually exit the game, even though it already does. So the escape key exits the game, even though it already did. But you know, we could do another one for touch. Actually, not gesture. Android. So we're targeting Android back. Yeah, that should work for Android. All right, and then so we did cursor, oh, and then hold. So for hold, I just did right mouse button. Okay, so we should have input now. Let's go into content drawer, save all, mapping context. All right, yeah. And oh, and playerboard needs compiled. Okay, so we got all these. Let's look at the code one last time, and we could probably test this. So, all right, what do we have? Exit game action. Let's uncomment this one. And then that means we're gonna need to port over the exit game function. I mean, there isn't much code to this one, so you could just write it out, but exit game. So I'm passing in input action value. Let's copy this. Is this in protected? Yeah. I mean, it could probably be private too, but so we're in protected. Stick it here. Create declaration. So yeah, I didn't need to copy all of that. Void exit game. Oh yeah, okay. Since it's true false value, I was just calling exit game. I was actually confusing myself there because I thought it was making a call to itself. Let's double check this against Cubomino. So F it's game. Quit game, that's what it is. It's U Kismet Math Library. Yeah, I pasted the wrong thing. I pasted my declaration there. All right, and then Kismet System Library. Gonna need. Already have Math Library. Oh, I think I just copied all of these. So this should compile. Let's exit out of this. Oh. All right, I'm gonna debug and launch, and I'll see you in just a moment. Okay, if you were following along exactly, you probably got the same error that I did. It was complaining because in an exit game, I had an F input action value, and I didn't forward declare it. So even though I had an enhanced input subsystem up here, it didn't like that. So it caused an issue here. All right, let's try building again. Now what? Player controller ref. Oh, I didn't grab the player controller reference. And I'm gonna need to instantiate it as well. Player controller ref. And we're gonna need to forward declare this as well. There, and class controller. All right, and then I think I set this up in begin play. I'm gonna hit Control K and 1, and that will shrink everything down except for my active one. I believe this is going to be in begin play. Let's head back to Cubo Minnow, air controller ref. All right, player controller ref, and then we're casting it from a player controller and then grabbing. Yeah, okay, so get controller. This comes from pawn. All right, and then I'm casting it to a player controller and then setting my variable here. Oh yeah, these are important as well. So making sure that the mouse cursor is visible, and then setting up subsystem. Oh, that's right, and you have to actually add the mapping context here as well to the subsystem. Yeah, this is all very important stuff, actually. Okay, so grab these, and then that's for the timer manager. That's for the scanner. This is platform specific code for aspect ratios. Oh yeah, and then the camera too. I offset it a little bit for the Android platforms, but all right. And let's exit this so I stop getting beeps. Okay, back over here. We're back in begin play. Let's set this up before I do the cue. Need both. So player controller ref that we just set up over here should exist. Yeah, okay, so we did paste that in. If it exists, then we're showing the mouse cursor, creating the enhanced input local player subsystem. This looks like I might need to include something there. Not getting colors. I'm getting it here. I don't know, I guess we'll see. Now that we have a player controller ref, then we're getting the local player, passing that into the subsystem. And then if that is successful, then we're adding the mapping context, which is the Tetris-Like mapping context. What's the other thing? Oh, priority. Context options, options equals. Is that even required? Compile and find out. That looks like it's required. Now what are you complaining about? Enhanced action value generating. Seen using struct. What? Alright, just a moment. Okay, so the problem ended up being here. First of all, I don't need to declare player controller here. So let's I forget what this comes with. I don't know, but let's delete it. And this is actually a struct, not a class. Now when I build, should work. All right, perfect. All right, and then in play. You know, this one probably isn't a great test because it would have just exited the game anyway, but whatever, let's use it as a test. I'm gonna launch the editor in debug mode. When this finishes, I'll be right back and we'll test it. Alright, hit play. Escape still ends it. Okay, beautiful. Now, you know what? Something I'm actually curious about is if I go into quick game here and instead of exiting the game, we'll go G engine add on screen debug messages. Just give it 1. I think it has to be a float. Oh, it's a uint64. Never mind then. Time to display is a float. We'll call it a 1.f. F color blue. And then the actual message. So F string exiting period. The rest, I think, yeah, newer on top. Yeah, the rest of them are all defaults. Okay, so let's save this. Back over here. I think we can just do this with live coding. With the compile button anyway. So now I'm thinking that it shouldn't exit anymore when I hit escape. That functionality should be overridden. No, it's still exited. Alright, well what if I go into here? This is just my own learning right now. I exit, not exit. We want mapping context, and then for exit, instead of escape, make it spacebar. Yeah, because I'm not sure if that didn't work because I just used the recompile code, or if it just, you know, wasn't overriding properly. Alright, so now let's hit spacebar. Spacebar is doing nothing, but I'm not seeing anything here. So that's telling me that it did not compile. Oh, I'm in Cubomino. Did I even launch the right one? Okay, what did I do? Okay, so I am dumb. I had the wrong workspace open, so I didn't even put this code in the right project. I had it in the Cubomino project. But the other thing I did is, when this probably didn't happen to you, but when I was debugging a different issue, I deleted intermediate and binaries, and I forgot to right click and then go to generate Visual Studio project files. So that was the last error that it threw, but I believe everything is working now. We have spacebar is set up. Now I'm playing now, and now my exiting is playing. All right, now let's go back, close this out. Now we can uncomment this, delete this. Actually, we can just launch. All right, we're back in the editor. Gonna hit play. Now, this is important too, because this tripped me up a couple of times at one point. So I just hit play and I haven't clicked anything. If I hit spacebar, nothing's gonna happen. You have to actually click in the editor. And since I have, nothing's actually gonna change visibly because I have show mouse cursor enabled. But since I clicked in, now the editor is gonna start capturing my input. So when I hit space this time, it should exit. There we go. Perfect. All right. But before we go, I'm going to change this back to exit. Or escape, I mean. Save all. All right. I think this is a good place to end it here. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you in the next one.